Every time an earthquake levels a city or a new war dominates the headlines, people ask the exact same question: are we seeing the signs of the end of the world? The disciples of Jesus actually asked him this identical question, and his specific answer to them is recorded in Matthew chapter 24. But his answer directly contradicts common assumptions. Jesus explicitly listed wars, famines, and earthquakes, and told his followers that these are entirely normal. He called them the beginning of sorrows, not the signs of his coming. Equating the evening news with a prophetic checklist misses the specific warning he was trying to give. The conversation started because Jesus pointed to the massive, imposing structure of the temple in Jerusalem and predicted that it would be torn down until not a single stone was left on another. That local destruction happened about 37 years later, in 70 AD, when a Roman emperor named Titus laid siege to the city. The disciples, however, thought the Messiah was there to conquer the earth immediately. When they heard the temple would fall, they assumed it would happen at the exact same time as the end of the age of men. They confused a localized judgment on first-century Israel with the global return of Christ. To find the actual sign of the end of the world, we have to look past the Roman siege. Instead of natural disasters, Jesus pointed to one specific event. He called it the abomination of desolation, referring to a prophecy originally written by Daniel. This timeline visualizes Daniel's prophecy, a final 7-year period closing out the current age. Exactly halfway through these 7 years, an evil leader will enter a rebuilt temple in Jerusalem, desecrate it, and declare himself to be God. This desecration marks the abomination of desolation, a singular, observable event that initiates a strict mathematical countdown. Looking closer at the second half of this timeline, Daniel dictates that this abomination kicks off an intense persecution against believers, lasting precisely 1,290 days. Jesus noted that God will supernaturally intervene to stop the persecution, creating a 45-day gap. Adding those 45 days means the timeline concludes exactly 1,335 days after the abomination, marking the return of Christ. Jesus endorsed this day-by-day blueprint. For anyone alive and studying the book of Daniel, when that temple is desecrated, there will be no guesswork about when the countdown ends. But here we hit a paradox. After laying out an exact 1,335-day countdown, Jesus told his followers that, "Of that day and hour knoweth no man." How can the day be entirely unknown if it's strictly scheduled? Jesus described the world right before this unknown hour as a place where people are eating, drinking, marrying, and living in a state of assumed peace and safety. Compare that condition to the end of the 1,335-day countdown. At that point, the world has endured over 3 years of extreme persecution. The sun is darkened, and armies are gathering for global war. No one is experiencing peace and safety at the end of those 7 years. The unknown day and hour points toward an entirely different chronological event. The unknown hour describes the moment before the 7-year period begins, long before the catastrophic signs of the end. Jesus described the mechanics of this unannounced moment clearly. 2 people will be working in a field or grinding at a mill, and suddenly, without warning, one of them will vanish. This sudden catching away of believers is known as the rapture. It acts as the unpredictable starting gun that initiates Daniel's strict 7-year countdown. This timeline leaves no room for hesitation. According to the text, the payment for sin was settled on the cross, leaving only a choice to be made before the clock starts ticking. Believers aren't waiting for a temple desecration or counting days until an apocalypse. They are waiting for a sudden rescue, meaning the only correct response is to be vigilant, faithful, and ready at any moment.